Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. EQOA Nostalgia here with an H-Hour World's Elite Sitrep. All in all, things have been relatively quiet on the H-Hour front, but there are a few details I wanted to discuss with you guys. The first topic I wanted to cover is the leaked footage that we seen a little over a week ago. Now, I'm not certain who leaked the footage. I'm sure people know, but whoever you are, you're an asshole. you're an asshole, and you definitely shouldn't do shit like that, dude. You know, there's an NDA agreement, a non-disclosure agreement, and it exists for a reason. And from my knowledge, it actually ended up getting the private forum shut down for a little while. I'm not certain about the details. I don't frequent that area. I'm not a part of the private forums, but nonetheless, it still sucks. But the real thing that sucks about it is if that was to leak out and the wrong people were to see it, maybe someone who is possibly going to invest in the game, or, you know, people who don't know a lot about the game, and they see it and they think, well, this is the final product. It's not a good representation of the final product. Therefore, it should not be leaked. Therefore, that's why the fucking NDA exists. I mean, it just pisses me off because I know these guys are working really hard and they didn't want that to happen, and you should honor that. But yeah, anyway, I just think it's really disrespectful and it betrays the trust of the developers of the game, and it's just not a good thing to do. Now, on the other hand, I have to say that I did view the footage. Now, that might make me a hypocrite because I don't think it's right what they did, but then again, I didn't go and post the shit. But yeah, I mean, I think it looks really good for such an early stage in development. Okay, so that brings me to my next topic of discussion, new screenshot. Well, I don't know if I'd call it new. It's been up for a little while anyway, but it does look good. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there who really sweat graphics. I'm not one of those people. As long as it plays like the old school SOCOM, I don't care if it looks like shit. Really, it can look like a PlayStation 2 game, and I really don't care. I don't fucking care, as long as it plays good. So, any good graphics that they put on top of the game, that's just a bonus for me, really. But yeah, I mean, it looks great, you know. The lighting looks good. I like the way the bricks in the wall look. You know, you got this deterioration looking, the beauty of decay, if you will. Now, something I didn't mention before was the HUD. The HUD looks very SOCOM style. I like that. Now, to my knowledge, there are a few people who are testing the game right now. One of them is Suck My Turban, and he is under NDA, and he is honoring the NDA, which I can only imagine must be hell, because you want to talk about this. You know, you want to show people gameplay, and there's things you want to say that you can't say, so that's got to be a little rough. But he has conveyed to us that it is shaping up to be one hell of a good game. And I imagine something like that is bittersweet because you get to enjoy it and you get to see what's going on, but at the same time you can't talk about it. So I've been in situations like that with betas before, and I know what that feels like. It does suck. It is bittersweet, but I think we can rest assured with his word, things are definitely shaping up to be SOCOM, true SOCOM. And no, I didn't mean for some of that to rhyme, but oddly enough it did. Anyway, he does have a couple of new videos up if you haven't checked those out. After quite a long hiatus, if you will. I think the last time he made a video was about 3 or 4 months ago, but understandably he's been busy. I know people get impatient when people don't upload videos regularly. I've had stretches where I haven't uploaded a video for about a week, and people start sending me messages like, what the fuck, buddy? You gonna make a video or what? It's like, yeah, man, it's just, you know, life and shit like that. So yeah, people get busy and sometimes they just don't upload videos. And not only that, it's kind of an odd situation for someone like him because he's used to making rant videos about SOCOM, and that's been done to death. So there really isn't a whole hell of a lot for him to talk about in that regard for what he's most comfortable doing. I think we'll be hearing a lot more from him as things develop and we get more footage and stuff like that, so I'm looking forward to that, definitely. I'm a big fan. Now, there's another thing I was thinking about when I heard about people playing the PlayStation 4 and the new Killzone. And from what I've heard, you can select weapons in that game using the touchpad. I wouldn't know firsthand since I don't have a PlayStation 4 or that game, so I couldn't tell you, but I have heard that that's how you select your weapons, and I think that is a great idea for H-Hour. Now, one of the complaints I had with the original SOCOM was the way you had to go through your weapons. It just felt like it was kind of clunky, and I don't know, I don't think anybody really enjoyed that system. But having the touchpad right there, right next to your thumb, I was thinking maybe you could just double tap the touchpad and then you could, just flick your thumb left, right, up or down to select your weapons. I think that would be a great idea. So hopefully David Sears and the gang are looking into that right now. I mean, I know it's early development and things are going to be getting done on the PC first, but hopefully they're at least considering something like that. Now, when I first heard about the touchpad, I was thinking about maybe using it for grenades, and I was like, nah, that wouldn't be good. That would probably just piss people off. But just for shits and giggles, I'll go ahead and tell people what my idea was, even though I do think that it's flawed and it should not be implemented. Anyway, I was thinking that you could just press down on the touchpad, and then you could create your arc with your thumb, however far you want to throw it, and then press, or just scroll your thumb left or right. And when you're ready to throw it, you just lift your thumb up off of the touchpad. And yeah, like I said, probably not a great idea. Probably just keep the classic way of tossing the grenade. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about was multi-platforms, having this game on different platforms. I've been reading the forums, and there's a lot of people out there, and I know this is probably going to piss some of you guys off, I'm sorry, but I got to speak my mind. There's a lot of people out there who are just waving the fanboy flag, and they're like, no, this should only be on PS4. It shouldn't be on anything else but PS4 and PC. And I'm not of a mind that that's the way things should be. I think the more systems that the game is on, the more successful the game is going to be. And I'm sure some people will argue that point, and they'll point to games like Uncharted and The Last of Us and say that those games sold really well. And no doubt, those games did sell really well, and they were exclusives. However, there's no denying that if they were on other platforms, other consoles, they would have sold more. I mean, imagine if GTA 5 was only on PlayStation 3 and that was it. How many people would be playing it? Not as many people, right? Wouldn't sell as many copies. I mean, as it is, people on PC are going apeshit because it's not out on PC yet, and they want it, but they are going to be getting it. That's the point. They are going to get it, and guess what? The sales are going to go up. And one of the things that I mentioned on the forums is that I didn't have a PlayStation 3 this entire generation. So I missed out on everything on PlayStation 3. So now I'm going to be picking one up and playing catch up on that stuff. But some people can't afford to do that, you know what I mean? Some people just get one console and that's it. I know PlayStation 4 is out now, but honestly, there's really not anything on PlayStation 4 that I want right now. I just don't. So that's another topic of conversation. That's something else I'm going to post about in the future, about how there's absolutely no reason for me to go out and get a next-gen console. But anyway, like I said, it's good to have your games on multiple different consoles, multiple platforms, because naturally it's going to sell more. I'm not saying it should launch on Xbox One alongside PS4, but eventually I think that it would be nice if it made its way around. And really the only console I would say no to is probably the Wii U, because, I mean, who buys a Wii U to play shooters? I don't have a Wii U. I bought the Wii, and I think I played that shit like 3 times. I mean, not literally. I haven't played it a lot. That's what I'm trying to get at. I've played it a little bit for Monster Hunter Tri and haven't really touched it for anything else. Now, people who buy 360s, they are shooter gamers. They play shooters, and I know that for a fact. And the people that buy Xbox Ones are going to be the same kind of people that bought 360s. So, yeah, I think there's a market there. And it's a good idea to bring the game out for Xbox One in the future. I'm certain that SOF Studios has no plans of doing that at this time. But, like I said, in the future, if the game is successful, it's not going to hurt anything by bringing it out on Xbox. Guys, it's really not. So, that kind of shit where it shouldn't be on the Xbox, that's just childish shit, man. But anyway, now that I've pissed off half of my audience, I think it's time to discuss something else. Push to Talk has been confirmed. Now, I know there's some people that want an open mic, so I wanted to talk about this a little bit. Now, I am all for Push to Talk because, personally, I like that option better. It's the classic option. I'm used to it, and open mics have been getting on my nerves for probably about, I don't know, the past 10 years or so. You know what I'm talking about. You get into a shooter game, and some asshole's got his music going, or somebody's got a loud ass kid screaming in the background, and their wife's nagging at him to go mow the fucking lawn or something. You know, nobody wants to hear that shit. And I understand there are pros and cons to open mic. It's nice to not have to push down and fight with other people to talk. But at the same time, if somebody's talking over you and you're both trying to talk at the same time, who the hell's listening anyway? I mean, you can't really discern anything from that anyway when everybody's talking all at once. Now, obviously, push to talk can suck when somebody's holding the mic for a while. I remember back during the SOCOM days, there were people, and I don't know how the hell they did it. It used to fucking get under my skin. I used to be able to do it every now and then, but they'd push down on the button and they'd just hold the mic forever. They'd just be sitting there like mashing the button or something, and you couldn't get a fucking word in. There have been plenty of times when I was playing SOCOM and I tried to tell somebody to turn around, or, you know, try to tell someone where they were, and it just didn't get through, and you die. So yeah, I mean, you know, open mic, you can shout over people and at least tell them, you know, shut the fuck up! Shut up and turn around and play the game. But at the same time, if people are doing that kind of shit on your team in SOCOM, you can vote them off. And that's another topic of discussion. Are we going to have the voting system? I'm pretty certain we are. I think it was confirmed. I'm not 100% positive, but, you know, if it's going to be like SOCOM, there better be a voting system. And the same thing with the lobby system. We're going to have a lobby system. We're going to have all that awesome shit that we remember from SOCOM. So I'm very happy about that stuff. Now, my next topic is something that I'm very excited about, and I'm hoping is going to be in the game, and that is toolkits and mods. Now, when you start talking about mods and stuff like that, you have to start thinking about servers, and if people are going to be able to run their own servers so that they can have mods without that kind of shit spilling into the regular game, because nobody wants to see anything silly in regular servers. I know I don't. Like, you know, people putting dildos in the end of their guns and all sorts of crazy shit that you can mod. But, I mean, in modern gaming, people are used to having mods, toolkits, and things. So I don't know how that's going to work out. If you're thinking about it in terms of classic servers like US East 1 and stuff like that, modding, I don't think it's going to be possible, because then it's just going to spill everywhere, and nobody wants that. You have to have private servers that, you know, people can maybe rent or open up their own servers, and it'll tell you, like, modded server and stuff like that before you go into that room. So that's a whole different discussion right there. If we're going to have private servers and things like that, well, maybe not private, maybe that's not a good word, player-run servers, rather. It's just something to consider, because I know the PC guys are really big on that. They love mods, and they love toolkits, so hopefully we can see something like that that'll help to keep those guys happy, you know. Now, I have heard people talk about the PS4 being able to support mods and stuff like that now, because, you know, the hardware is really friendly to developers, and it's nothing like the PS3 was, so I think we're going to start seeing stuff like that on PS4. I'm not really well versed in that area. I don't know too much about it, so I don't even know if the PlayStation 4 can do that kind of stuff, but hey, you know, you never know. It would be cool to see that. And the main reason why I brought this up is for the toolkits and being able to create your own maps. And I read the forums and I see people talking about SOCOM 2 classic maps and 1 maps, and asking if they're going to be able to buy the rights from Zipper, or, you know, Sony, since Zipper is now defunct, if they're going to be able to buy the rights from Sony. And the whole time I'm thinking to myself, you know, fuck all that. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is have a toolkit where people can create their own maps, and then Sony can't sue anybody, as far as I know. If it's player created, they can't come in and say, hey, you can't do this. I mean, that there's got to be some sort of fair use, if you will, and I've got that on my mind a lot lately because of the bullshit that's going on with YouTube right now, but I'm not going to get into that because I can just talk about that for like 20 minutes. But yeah, anyway, I don't see any reason why we can't create our own maps if they add that option to the game, and that's something, like I said, that happens a lot nowadays. People come to expect that in their shooters and in their games. I mean, you know, we got mods for everything from Skyrim to like Battlefield and shit. So for me, that's a very exciting thing, and hopefully that's included, because I know right away I'm going to want to be part of, you know, recreating Frostfire. That's one of my personal favorite maps, the mixer and stuff like that. I'm sure if they make that, like, every SOCOM map in the history of SOCOM maps is going to be present. Now, if it's just something that's for PC, that's just going to be one more thing that the PC elitists can hold over console gamers' heads. So that'll kind of suck. So yeah, I'm really hoping that PlayStation 4 will be able to hold mods. At least you'll be able to just, upload the maps onto the PlayStation so that people can play them. But yeah, none of this stuff, to my knowledge, has been confirmed. Now, they might have mentioned it in one of the interviews with David Sears, but I haven't seen those in quite a few months now, 3 or 4 months. So if that's been mentioned already, I apologize. But yeah, I just thought it was something that was worthy of discussion. So that just about wraps it up for this Sitrep, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you all for watching, and I am very interested in knowing what you think about these topics that I've covered. If you have any questions that you want me to go over, or maybe some things you'd like for me to discuss in the next Sitrep, make sure you do that. Leave that down in the comments section. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video.
Puxa lá, granata!